So I'm currently the PI of the Greenland Rising project, which means I coordinate all the different parts of it. We had spent about a decade of mapping of Greenland for sea level purposes, where we literally were flying over, because we were doing it all from airplanes, and those measurements were really important for models that are used around the world, but weren't directly connected to the people who actually live in Greenland. So this project was designed more with a co-production element in mind, to go to the communities and find out, what if these changes are going to mean something to you. Actually, we partnered with the Institute of Natural Resources in Greenland itself, so with Greenlandic scientists. They went to the communities that we were going to focus on and talked with people and said, we have this information, we have observations and models that say that the sea level is going to change in a certain way. It happens that around Greenland it's going to get shallower, whereas the rest of the world, the narrative is mostly about sea level rising. And what would shallower seas mean to you? And it's important for infrastructure and how harbours are constructed. And we learned about the different fishing areas and places that people navigated in their boats. And then we went out to measure those places so that we could understand the present day water depth to the kind of precision that would make models of the future relevant to planning in those areas, because we can model how the sea level is going to change, maybe a metre over the next 100 years. But if we didn't know where the water depth was to within a metre, then it's hard to apply those models. So it was connecting in with people and what they're interested in and the sorts of hazards that they experience, and how we could quantify their landscape in a way that would make our future predictions useful to them. You can expand that and give that message more globally to say your local community will experience these global events in different ways from your neighbours and from the people on the other side of the world. So it's really important to understand who's in your community and how things are going to change so that you can quite locally adapt. There's much more focus on local impacts and adaptations than the big global story that sometimes gets more play in the press. I think exactly the same issues come up here in New York. So we should know what the predicted sea level changes are for this coastline, because we are coastal dwellers as well. Using the Greenlandic example of being adaptable to changes in the environment and trying to learn that lesson would be an incredibly powerful one for New York to take on board.